So, oh, Lord. Okay, so, maybe, if you're watching this, you are watching it because the title will indicate that I wrote a blog post. Because I did. So, if you are not watching this because of that and you're just watching it because you're watching it, let me fill you in for a sec. It's Pride Month. I promised myself, and also whoever watched the video at the beginning of this month, that I would put time into discussions and statements, efforts towards more unity on the subject of rights and fair treatment and love for people in the LGBTQ community. And I hinted in the post that I made not too long ago, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I hinted at showing my blurry support, showing my support for people who are not straight and or cisgender, and nobody said anything, which I wasn't really surprised by. It was like a paragraph at the end of the post, whatever. And then last night, I went back to a draft that I had started a couple days before that just straight up says, hey church, what you doing? Why aren't you treating people who don't look or act or live like you with the same respect as everybody else? So that was a thing. And for some people, that is not a risky thing to do. It's really not. Saying that you support people who are in a marginalized community can be just as easy as breathing if you are in a place of privilege and safety, or if you have an audience on social media who mostly agrees with you. But given my childhood background, given most of my family background, it's not what I would call a safe statement to make, regardless of how strongly I feel about it. And so I had been afraid to make statements that were that blatantly obvious in my support for a community that's very important to me. And I was feeling more and more heartbroken at my own fear. If we're gonna label it what it was fear. Fear of being honest about my stance. And from the angle of the church, which is an angle that is incredibly important to me right now, and probably will continue to be the rest of my life, I think we fail over and over and over when we're dealing with any marginalized community, but specifically with gay rights or gender rights. We fail all the time as a church, and it's shameful. It's disgusting. I want it to stop. I want it to be better. I want people to feel safe in the church, regardless of their lifestyle, regardless of who they identify as. And I don't see an end in sight for the bigotry, because that's how sin works. We're a sinful people. I believe that strongly, wholeheartedly. I also believe in the grace and love of Jesus, and because of that, I see zero excuses to remain silent while people are suffering, especially at the hands of other believers. So I said stuff, and have gotten no response from people who disagree with me, which has become a trend. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I can also see the analytics on blog posts, and that blog post reached some people. Not as many as a couple of other posts have in the past, but it's been less than 24 hours, so who knows who will see it. And that's the thing, is that I don't know who sees these posts besides the 3 or 4 people who interact with me after I post them. And so I always wonder who clicks on it, who stays reading until the end, and who clicks away based on what I say. Along those lines, I had a person from church share the post, and another person from another part of my life who happens to agree with me on these topics comment and talk about how the journey I'm on right now to figure out ways to speak up and have conversations that are frightening and dangerous, though that courage is not necessarily something that everybody has. And I'm not going to say that I have it either. I think the fact that it took me this long to write about it, even though it's been something that's been important to me for a couple of years now, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I will also say that I have been planting seeds of trust in people over the past year, the past 6 months, past month, honestly. People, and I've talked about this before, but finding the list of people who are safe to talk to about anything. And that list is small, very, very small, but it is growing very slowly. I would say every few months another person is added to the list of safe people to talk to and ask questions and get opinions about a variety of topics. But I think in light of writing this post and tipping my hand more than I have in the past, I think having those people in my life is going to be more important than ever, because navigating the possible shutout or fallout that I can't find yet, but that doesn't mean it's not coming, is going to be interesting. I can't even pretend to say that I'm in a position where this is physically dangerous for me or anything like that, because that would be dramatic and unfair to the people who actually are unsafe. But I really love my family. I love them very much, and there aren't very many of them who would support me in my efforts to have these conversations because of the things that I'm saying. And I know that the bolder I get, the more open I become about discovering what I believe and who I am as a person, the more likely I will isolate some people who have been some of the most important people in my life. And I had a conversation with a friend about that a few weeks ago. And I told them that I don't know what I'm going to do if something like that happens. Because my family is my life. And that's when I fall back on the grace and love of Jesus again. I have to believe that no matter who I become, no matter what I believe, I will have the family that I need, and I will have the love that I need. Life is weird. And scary right now. And anybody who can read between lines or take guesses, cool. That's all I'm gonna say. Cool. But yeah, I am more grateful than ever to have found a church community of people who will not go anywhere, and to have siblings who are right here. And among my friends from the past and my new friends, there are people who I can go to at any time of the day, the week, whatever, and tell them what's up. That's important, and I am so grateful that it exists in my life. I don't know how to end this one, honestly, which is why I'm still rambling on. But there are a lot of things in my head right now, and none of them are very easily summarized, even if I did write a blog post about some of them. Love you, whoever you are, because clearly you're sticking it out through a weird time. Jesus is cool, and he's not going anywhere, and that I'm real glad of that.